So this is going to be something a little bit different. I've been wanting to dive into the video essay format of video for a while now, as I've been trying to organise and serialise everything on the Coleman channel as of late. Originally I saw Coleman as a low quality shitpost channel where I capture my rambling thoughts and nonsense on camera, but I think I'd like to take production more seriously as I've continued to better refine my recording and editing with the help of the facilities offered by my good friends at Soup Group, the amazing variety channel featuring 8 funny boys, myself included. Over at Soup we offer a smorgasbord of content including let's plays of games old and new, podcasts featuring relevant topics and general shit shooting, reactions to news and games of interest to us uploaded on the day of release, and off the cuff skits that make you wonder what the fuck is actually going on. We're starting to get traction with views, and at 81 subs we're eager to keep growing and explore new avenues of content creation, so checking us out and peeping the content at the end of this video would mean very much to me and the boys. Shameless plug over. So, all 4 of you loyal Coleman viewers may have noticed some changes around here. New channel art, thumbnails, video series such as Stupid Fucking Gaming appearing, and Claudio getting more videos of better production quality. Basically, I'm trying to build Coleman into a channel with legit content to offer the lovely people of YouTube. I'm really trying to be a shooting star and break the mold here, lads. So here we are, video essay time. I see this as a format that's becoming one of the more popular genres of video here on YouTube, and I'd like to try my hand at it by discussing a variety of different topics of interest to me. I enjoy analysing things and putting the spotlight on topics I believe need more eyes on them. But where to start? Well, credit where credit's due, the series that made me realise it's time to make some dang content was an excellent video series called Zombies Retrospective, which may be of interest to any COD Zombies fans such as myself. It's a series of videos cooked up by the fine Canadian fella The Smith Plays, who you should probably check out and sub if you like your zombies and Fortnite content. His series discusses, analyses and rates zombies maps through the years in, as the title may suggest, a retrospective fashion. I like sick gaming, and I like talking about sick gaming, so I'm going to try something similar, but also much different. I'm focusing instead on discussing, analysing and reviewing the Left 4 Dead series and the campaigns spread between its 2 games. Left 4 Dead has been one of my all-time favourite video game series for years and is probably my favourite Valve game of all time, which is probably a bold statement considering the games we're talking about here. For the record, Team Fortress 2 and Portal 2 are the very close contenders, as in tickling the heels, reaching out real fucking close to Left 4 Dead's little zombie leggies. Half-Life 1's pretty sick, 2's pretty decent, Counter-Strike's pretty okay, fuck it, here's a tier list, whatever gives me an excuse to make another one. Left 4 Dead 2 was one of the last games Valve came out with before they disappeared into the gaming abyss for a decade. Before 2011 they were a roided up game making machine. For reference, Left 4 Dead 2 came out a year after Left 4 Dead 1, which came out a year after Team Fortress 2, which came out the same day as Portal, but I digress. Left 4 Dead pretty much has everything you would expect from any other FPS Valve game. Satisfying gunplay, excellent characters, amazing music, perfect setting, sick art direction and excellent story and lore that lies underneath epic fucking game progression and provoking, organic and funny dialogue. I guess it's my favourite because I enjoy the theme and setting most of all the Valve games. I love TF2's cartoon design and funny team boys, Portal's minimalist future tech design and funny sphere boys, and Half-Life's dark, dingy urban look mixed with spooky alien tech and fucking horrific headfuck boys. But I'm a sucker for horror, and I'm a sucker for a good old-fashioned apocalypse. And the cool thing about the series is that the game progresses through campaigns, group sets of environments containing levels that players have to progress through without being overwhelmed by the infected. Each campaign is unique in its setting and personality. Valve frame these campaigns like zombie movies. Your loading screen starts with a movie poster of the campaign featuring the survivors. These posters are fucking sick in themselves. Like, I'd have a hallway purely to contain these. If I had unlimited money, that's what I'd do. They all basically follow the same game formula, survivors getting from point A to point B, while the infected attempt to pick them off one by one until the survivors eventually reach the finale, where they must survive until rescue arrives to take them away and complete the campaign. You're a starting role as one of the survivors, and you get a fucking credit roll tallying pretty much everything in the campaign run. Who threw the most Molotovs, who used the most pills, who killed the most hunters, etc. However, they each bring something new to the experience, something that changes the flow of the game in a unique and exciting way. Death toll of the church standoff, the Dark Carnival concert, and the fucking parish finale. All of these are the iconic adrenaline rush moments that make Left 4 Dead campaigns stand out to make fun and addicting individual gameplay experiences, each with their own unique personality and world. So, that's what we're going to start doing now that all the fucking utter housekeeping is over. Let's talk about No Mercy. So obviously No Mercy is the first campaign experience offered by Left 4 Dead 1, and therefore the first campaign experience in general, unless you decide to skip it and play in any random order for some fuck all reason. In fairness, you could probably get away with that. One difference between Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 is that 1 doesn't really follow any story continuity with its campaigns. In 2 we see a steady progression from Dead Center to the parish, going from place to place, changing from escape to escape. The Jimmy Gibbs Jr. appears in 3 campaigns even. 1 has no story continuity. The survivors just sorta run off in a rescue vehicle, then pull up somewhere else, with no reference as to how they got there and what happened to the previous rescue. The only exception is Crash Course, which occurs after No Mercy, but that campaign is very small and not worth much of a fuck at all, so... That being said, No Mercy really is the only original Left 4 Dead 1 campaign with some story attached to it. The opening cutscene of the game takes place in the streets, leading right up to a rooftop, which serves as the starting point of the game. Not much story-wise actually happens in the cutscene, but introduces us to the Left 4 Dead 1 survivors, Bill, Zoe, Francis and Lewis, and gives us a general idea of each survivor's character. It tells us just enough about their personalities, the situation they find themselves in, the infected they must face, and how they each fit in the group, and most importantly, that despite their differences, they're able to come together as an effective zombie killing team. Bill is the leader of the group, a seasoned army veteran who's finally found purpose again, lugging an M16 around shooting the fuck out of infected. Francis is an oddball biker who is eternally cocky and hates just about everything except vests. Lewis is the typical blue collar office man, affable and positive who believes everything will work out right. And Zoe is just sorta an aimless young adult who quotes movies a lot. And then the game starts. No Mercy is comprised of 5 chapters, which is the maximum number for any campaign. The 5 chapters are apartments, subway, sewer, hospital and rooftop. The survivors need to fight their way through a short and sweet first chapter through an apartment, into the streets and into the safe house and the subway. Ah yes, the safe house. That fat ass red metal door that lets you know everything is gonna be okay. These are the stopping points that separate chapters and give survivors time to breathe and restock. The safe house door is one of the icons of Left 4 Dead. You got the fixed sliding peephole door to get in and the barred door to get out. The barred doors are fun because you get to shoot at infected from the safety of the safe house. Quick word of advice, if a tank spawns, do not run to the safe house for safety. Trust me, that's one surprise heart attack you don't fucking need. Before we move on, I'd like to mention the safe house wall messages. These are some of the most integral world building pieces in the 2 games. These are messages left by other survivors, dead or alive, and it really gives you a better understanding and feel of the Left 4 Dead world without the use of dialogue or cutscenes. Some of these are messages from one person to another, some are warnings, some tie the chapters together, helping survivors navigate from one point to the next, some are just funny memes of references. No Mercy's first safe house has some good examples, the most notable being, "None of you will survive." Chapter 2 has you fighting your way through the subway on tracks and carriages, leading to a standoff in the engine room, complete with a mounted minigun for some reason, into the streets again, and into the pawn shop safe house. Notable wall messages include, "They can talk." Don't think there's any examples of this in the game. Also, this safe house has some cool scribblings over notices and checklists made by CEDA, who are basically the CDC of Left 4 Dead, the most notable being, "Nobody is going to save us." Chapter 3 takes us through a little burger joint where you get to fucking annihilate everything in sight by shooting up a fucking petrol station. I still fucking love that part. No other campaign has something like that, you know. Activate a lift that summons the horde, and fight on the rooftop through that big ass window which you get to smash, through some warehouses and alleys until you reach the manhole that takes you to the turtle house sewer. Walk through some shit for a while until you find the emergency ladder that takes you to the centerpiece and main theme of No Mercy, Mercy Hospital, which has a safe house within. This one has a lot of tragic messages to survivors like, "Peter, waited until Thursday, couldn't wait any longer, went to Riverside with friends," well reference to death toll, "with others, I'm so sorry, Kate." This room also has a good reference to a Dead Rising achievement too. Of course then we have the hospital. The survivors fight through tight corridors, reception, more corridors, stairs, and eventually an elevator standoff where the infected break through walls and ceilings to get you. The elevator in Left 4 Dead 1 had a service hatch that special infected could get the drop on you from. This is sealed off in 2, probably because the spitter could melt everyone within easily. The elevator takes you to the rooftops under construction. This could be spooky in Left 4 Dead 1 if a tank pulled up, but in Left 4 Dead 2, there's chargers. That's just a cruel, sick joke. This leads you to the last safe room and into the rooftop finale. The final safe room has a funny argument about how long it takes to turn. 4 days, 3 days, 2.5 hours, or 5 minutes. There's also a funny vampire message which makes me think Francis was here. And then there's Chicago Ted. I don't know what the fuck that one's all about, but it became a bit of a meme in the Left 4 Dead community. He's basically the Chuck Norris survivor now. Remember the Chuck Norris website? I do. Survivors hold out on the roof in the typical style, a wave of infected, a tank, more infected, another tank, then rescue in the form of a news chopper. Defense includes a minigun, some gas canisters and propane tanks, and in Left 4 Dead 2 a couple of grenade launchers. This finale is fairly simple if you plan your strategy right. I like to cover all possible entryways for the infected with propane and gas tanks and dropping a grenade on them when it gets busy, and I usually use a minigun for tanks depending on where they spawn. And that's No Mercy in a nutshell. Like most Left 4 Dead 1 campaigns, the playthrough is generally very sweet and simple setup. A campaign that is most simple. Although out of all the original campaigns, No Mercy still stands out to me as one of the best. In terms of setting, like all the Left 4 Dead 1 campaigns, it's very urban. The entire game is set in Pennsylvania, which you would have no fucking clue of unless you knew the place names like Riverside. Left 4 Dead 2 makes it very clear that you're in the south, with state names, music, accents, the works. Left 4 Dead 1 could really just be any urban setting anywhere in America. All the campaigns are set in cities, on rooftops, streets, apartments, the works, with the exception of Blood Harvest. Out of all of these, No Mercy I feel nails it the best. The streets at night setting may be obvious for a zombie apocalypse game, but it can get old after a while. This is what encouraged the Valve team to expand to the south and make every campaign pretty much completely different from one another, time of day and all. No Mercy is the most urban of all the campaigns. Streets, subways, sewers, rooftops, it's all here. It adds space to each individual chapter and gives each one a good sense of identity. This is lost in campaigns such as Dead Air, which is still a good campaign. It follows the same general formula as No Mercy with an airport in place of a hospital, which is still cool as fuck. But the build up to this in other chapters isn't as effective as No Mercy. No Mercy has more variety in its chapters up to the centrepiece. Dead Air's chapters feel kinda samey up until its centrepiece. No Mercy just feels really right in its progression, and it all flows together quite nicely, probably the best of all the Left 4 Dead 1 campaigns in my own opinion. Talking of centrepiece, Mercy Hospital. Of course a huge skyscraper hospital is one of the best settings for a zombie game, especially one focusing on an infection rather than undead zombies. The quarantine tape, everything knocked over in the hallways. You already know doctors, nurses and patients running back and forth in desperation, trying to keep the infection under control until, of course, the inevitable happened. Mercy Hospital can be pretty samey, but for one chapter it's a pretty good one. It's one of the settings that makes the most sense for a game like this, and it really ties No Mercy together, especially fighting your way to the rooftop. I don't know man, 5 chapters is a lot of content, especially for 4 base campaigns, which is probably why they switched to 4 chapters to 5 chapters and 2. 5 chapters means a lot of filler, and adding the spice of variety can be difficult, especially for the more simplistic and samey settings of 1 campaigns as opposed to the wider variety 2 offers. This isn't a necessarily bad thing in itself. The Left 4 Dead 1 campaigns are all excellent in their own right, regardless of the shared similar theme, but the cracks form in some campaigns more than others as a result. To me, however, No Mercy really has no cracks at all. It nails the urban northern states theme the best of all the Left 4 Dead 1 campaigns, and it's the starter campaign that really sets you up perfectly for what else is in store. It's simple, sweet, and solid. If I'm truly honest, No Mercy is probably the most perfect, simplified campaign. Does that mean it's my favourite? I guess we'll have to see. We should probably round off with the music, since we're on a roll doing the suck on No Mercy's ween. Left 4 Dead has a fucking amazing score. I'm always surprised Valve can do so many different things with one fucking song. So every campaign has their own theme song which plays at the beginning of the first chapter. It's just the overall theme music for Left 4 Dead redone in all sorts of different spooky ways that match the aesthetic of each campaign. No Mercy is one of my favourites of Left 4 Dead 1. It's probably the most basic iteration of the Left 4 Dead theme, but it perfectly captures this image of the city vacant of human life, now occupied solely by the infected hordes from pavements to rooftop. The heavy piano notes, bass strings and eerie violins, instruments common to Left 4 Dead 1 music, it all perfectly encapsulates the dark streets and underground of No Mercy, all combined with that ominous hospital building, its neon green logo and searchlights dominating the sky, the sole symbol of escape for the survivors. The No Mercy theme is horror music at its finest, and with the overall aesthetic of Left 4 Dead being horror movies with its campaign posters, cast of survivors and end credits at the conclusion of each campaign, it really just goes to complete the entire movie package. Excellent gloomy city setting at night, perfect chapter progression, great setting variety, a perfect campaign centrepiece, amazing horror vibe music, ass exposed and infected, exploding petrol stations, fun crescendo events, rooftops that chargers can help you see God a little faster. No Mercy has it all. As a result, it goes in the high A tier. And that's finally fucking it. Jesus. We got there in the end, lads, we did it. No Mercy is retrospectively looked at by little old me. Again, we had to get through some housekeeping to start this series off right, but from now on it's just diving right into the sheer analytical content. More video essays and other funny things to come, friends. I do hope I've managed to present this video in a coherent, interesting and edutainmental fashion. How the fuck do you pronounce that word? Edutainment? Edutainmental? I don't know. I'm pretty happy with it myself, but feedback is always appreciated. Coleman is gonna grow. It may take a while, but I love what I'm doing, and I guess I'm just gonna, keep doing it. Anyway, bye bye.
This is gonna be easy.